Jake El Paul!
Many well-known figures shocked fans by openly backing Jake Paul before he ever entered the ring with Anthony Joshua. At first glance, those pics looked like pure clickbait. A famous heavyweight supporting an internet star. A legendary promoter calling for a shock result. A respected MMA voice claiming the outsider could land the punch that ends it all. But when you actually listen to their words, each opinion follows clear reasoning. Belief in knockout power. Acknowledgement of real progress from a non-traditional boxer. And the understanding that in the heavyweight division one clean shot can instantly change odds and careers. Tyson Fury delivered the boldest and most attention-grabbing take. He did not joke or hedge. He said he would back Paul and even claimed he would place a £1 million bet on him while stating plainly that Paul knocks Joshua out. That statement hit hard because Fury is not just noise. He is a former world champion whose words carry weight. By saying Joshua was declining and Paul was improving, Fury did two things at once. He challenged Joshua future and gave Paul instant credibility through his support alone. Fans of heavyweight boxing took notice and reconsidered what might be possible. When a fighter like Fury publicly backs an upset, the story changes not because statistics shift, but because heavyweight boxing has always been driven by belief and confidence just as much as numbers.
Talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look.
Oscar de la Hoya offered a very different tone. He is a promoter shaped by years as a fighter with sharp instincts built in real fights, and he shared his view online. He said he expected Jake Paul to score a knockout. For de la Hoya, this was not just hype. It reflected a promoter's eye that Paul's progress has gone beyond marketing moments. It has shown steady improvement through actual performances, even if many fans disagree with his path. When someone who has built stars and judged fighters for decades says the underdog can win by knockout, he is pointing to real details. Power that looks real on video. Better timing than before. And a growing confidence that can turn one clean punch into a fight-ending moment. In that light, the scenario feels possible, not imaginary. His take sounds like the kind of call made after serious study that turns something unlikely into something believable. Similar thoughts came from respected fighters outside boxing. Demetrius Johnson, the former UFC champion known for elite timing and fight intelligence, said clearly that Jake could land an awkward short punch that has hurt Joshua in the past. Johnson did not speak from loyalty or hype. He spoke from technique. He mentioned past fights where Joshua was caught by short overhand shots and explained how Paul's unusual angles and habits could repeat that result. This was not media noise. It was a technical read from someone trained to spot weaknesses and patterns. That kind of voice changes discussions among coaches and bettors, because it frames the upset as realistic and based on evidence. Rolando Romero took another angle that was less technical and more cultural. His support for Paul focused on momentum, image, and belief. Romero suggested that Paul's confidence, fame, and control of big events act as advantages on their own. To him, Paul would not be in this position without believing fully in winning, and that belief can carry into the ring. This is not science, but in modern fight culture, stories matter. Crowd energy, judging mood, and fighter mindset are all shaped by build-up narratives. Romero viewed mixed boldness with cultural insight. In a sport driven by attention, Paul's spectacle itself could become a tool. Support did not stop there. Nate Diaz, a figure known for raw fight credibility, publicly placed a bet on Paul. That move mattered. A $20,000 bet from Diaz is not a joke. It is a signal that the upset feels real enough to risk money. When respected fighters bet on underdogs, it changes how fans view a fight. It shows volatility. Fans from boxing and MMA noticed, and some adjusted their expectations. Betting is not destiny, but it reflects feeling, and Diaz's action added heat to the idea of a Paul win. Other voices focused less on shock and more on strategy. Paulie Malignaggi, a former champion turned sharp analyst, explained ways Paul could compete. He did not guarantee a win. He outlined a path. He talked about movement, clinching, and smart inside work to reduce Joshua's size edge and create space for a big shot. These breakdowns matter because they turn belief into structure. They give a plan, not just hope.
with AJ, the way he handled Francis Ngannou, who I think was also a bit of a sideshow fight, but was much more dangerous than Jake Paul. And you saw the way AJ took that very seriously and got rid of his opponent very, very quickly and in a destructive fashion. I see something similar here in this situation. But, you know, these are discussion points, talking points.
Then there were smaller yet meaningful signs of support from fighters who understand real danger and how to overcome it. Andy Ruiz Jr., the man who shocked the world by beating Anthony Joshua in 2019, offered Jake Paul advice and encouragement and publicly told him not to be afraid. That support should not be ignored. Ruiz's opinion carries weight because he has lived through beating Joshua himself. His belief that Paul could follow a similar path comes from real experience. He knows where Joshua can be caught and what situations trouble him. His guidance showed that at least some former rivals saw openings that a prepared challenger might use. When someone who has already defeated your opponent shares tactics and belief, it is a serious vote of confidence. What connects all these picks is not blind hope but a set of repeated ideas. Paul has clearly improved. Heavyweight fights can change fast. Joshua has been hurt before by awkward short punches. And fame, momentum and public belief can shape a fight in unexpected ways. These are not strange theories. They are built from fight footage, past results, and how modern combat sports work. Tyson Fury million-pound bet grabbed attention, but his view that Joshua is declining comes from watching his career path. Demetrius Johnson technical take on short punches is based on real moments in Joshua history. Oscar de la Hoya knockout prediction comes from the same sharp instinct he has used for decades. Romero and Diaz focus more on mindset, culture and momentum, and those factors matter because they affect how fighters feel and how crowds respond when things shift. Each voice matters for a different reason. Fury changed the conversation because of his status as a heavyweight great. De la Hoya mattered because he knows how underdogs become real threats when attention changes. Johnson mattered because he reads patterns as an elite fighter across sports. Ruiz mattered because he has already done what others only imagine. Romero and Diaz added raw belief that often powers surprises. Paulie tactical ideas added structure and direction. Taken together, these views show that Jake Paul chances were not empty talk, but a collection of realistic ideas that supported the possibility of an upset.
What is your prediction, Jake?
Probably the 6th or 7th round knockout.
And that's it.
I'm fucking him up, Burial! I'm fucking him up!
None of this changes the fact that betting markets and most boxing purists still favor Joshua. However, the opposing voices turned the fight into more than a simple expected win. It became a real and dramatic contest because trusted figures argued that an upset was possible. In that way, the predictions supporting Jake Paul achieved their purpose. They shifted the atmosphere, influenced betting interest, and shaped how fans and bettors viewed the matchup. They pushed people to think beyond basic punch numbers and career records. They forced the sport to consider story, momentum, and the danger of one clean heavyweight punch. That is all for today's video. Stay tuned.